Welcome back, crew, to another video. In this one I'm just going to be doing a routine oil change and taking it along with me and showing you how I do things. So I got the car all jacked up, got my oil, and got my pan and my creeper all set up. So I'll see you underneath the car and run you through how I do it. So the first thing I like to do is take off the oil cap. That way there's a smoother flow of the oil whenever you take out the plug underneath. Alright, so getting underneath, I have my oil mat, my drain pan, then I have my 15mm ratcheting wrench for the oil plug. I have my impact and a 7mm bit. That way I can take the plastic pan off to get to the oil filter later. And then I also have a plastic bag, which I'll show you what I use that for in a little bit. Me personally, I also like having a pair of gloves on. No one likes cleaning up oil off themselves, so. But other than that, let's get started. Alright, so time to get to it. Alright, nice smooth pour. Didn't get anything on my actual hands, and got the plug. Cool. I'll just put it on this mat. That's what it's for. Alright, well, the oil is just about finished draining. I'm gonna get access to the oil pan. So there's gonna be these little screws here, 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 two here, and one on the back here. That takes this plastic panel down in order to get to the oil filter. So that's where you're gonna take your 7mm little socket and take these screws out. Alright, you can pop the cover down. Alright, now I have access to the oil filter, which is right here. But first I'm gonna put the oil plug back in. That way I can move the drain pan. So give the plug just a quick wipe down. Wipe down the pan real quick and just hand thread it in. You don't need to tighten it down quite yet. Yeah, right there should be good. Now, just as a precaution, I'm going to slide everything underneath where the plug would be, or where the oil filter is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the filter inside this plastic bag. That way I can catch most of the oil. That way it's not dripping on my rails or anything like that. And I'll put the drain pan underneath as well. So as long as you only do the plug hand or the filter hand tight, you can easily turn it off while it's inside this bag. As you can see, I kind of missed a little bit, but it beats getting all that oil spilled everywhere. Once most of that's drained into the bag, you can pull out the rest of the filter. I'm just going to dump it into the bag, leave it there for a moment, and clean up whatever residual oil you spilled on wires. Now I'll get my new filter ready. If you want, you can spread just a little bit of used oil on the O-ring. It's not really a requirement. And then just thread it on. And remember, these are only supposed to be hand tight. I'm not supposed to take a big old wrench and tighten this down or torque it down. That's nice and snug, hand tight. And yeah, that's pretty much it for underneath the car. I just need to screw the plug all the way back in, and then I can move up to the top of the car and fill her up. And this isn't supposed to be very tight either. This is only supposed to be snug. It isn't supposed to be torqued down very heavy either. What am I doing? And snug. Alright, that should be it for here. I mean, other than putting the pan back on, but what I'm going to do first, make sure all this is cleaned up. I may spray some brake cleaner just to get any of the residual off before I fill it up. That way I can tell if there's actual leaks anywhere. Alright, getting up to the top of the car. So you're going to grab a funnel of some kind. In my case, I'm using a old washer fluid bottle that I just cut the top off, and it actually fits pretty much spot on inside the oil drain or the oil fill plug. The 5.0 Mustangs take approximately 8 quarts of oil. I have 10, but that's because the 5-gallon jugs were on sale and it would have been more expensive to buy the individual ones to fill it out. So I'm just gonna have to eyeball the next jug whenever I start filling it up. Alright, let that drip just a little bit. And since I've already put 5 quarts in, all I need is 3 more out of this. And just about 1 quart down. Alright, that's about half quart left. Okay, cool. It should be just about 8 quarts. If I'm low, I can top it off after I get it started up. Overall, overall, changing the oil out on these things it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward process. If you're doing it in your garage, really the longest part of it is getting it up on jacks or jacks and jack stands. Overall, it'll take you about, I don't know, 15 minutes to do the whole thing at most. But I think at the moment I am going to start. Actually, first I'm gonna go check the dipstick to see how we're looking. And what does kind of suck, if you have a big intake and a strut tower brace like me, your dipstick is down low and you have to kind of snake it through, which is kind of a pain. So clean it off, get all that old stuff off. And pull it back out to check. All right, both bubbles are filled in, so it should be good as far as oil level goes. So now I'm gonna get in, start it up for just a little bit, let the oil circulate, and that should be that. Hopefully this was a decent guide and showed you a couple tips if you've never tried them out before. That should be all. I'll see you guys next time.